The early internet was ugly, dangerous, tacky, confusing, and also, I'm a liar.
Growing up in the 2000s and the 2010s, the internet was an equally fun and scary place. It was hard to find what you were looking for, and it was really easy to find a virus. Sorry guys, the family computer's offline until this scan finishes. My bad. Things were very fragmented. Google wasn't around for years, and even when it eventually was, it was limited and unrefined. Often in those early days, the only way to hear about a website was via word of mouth, or by surfing the web. Because of this, web pages felt so unique. Each one was untainted by industry standards and efficiency. The newness of it all meant that people were still experimenting with what a web page could even look like. For me personally, this made the internet a charming place, full of creativity and expression. Nowadays, everything is owned by like 4 or 5 companies. And just like your local McDonald's, those colorful, expressive web pages were replaced by sleek, modern, monotone design. So it begs the question, why did we ditch the charm of the early internet? Some of you may be asking, what exactly made the internet so charming? I do think that a large part of it comes down to design, as I mentioned moments ago. The expressive qualities that came from people experimenting with what was possible with web pages meant that every single page was super unique. That's that good stuff. Colorful, creative, charming, and sometimes tacky, but in the best way possible. But there's another equally, if not more important quality that gave the internet its cozy charm and influenced its design. The internet was decentralized, fragmented across thousands of web pages, big and small. This meant that a large portion of the internet was just made by everyday people. New ideas were being put forward constantly, and big companies hadn't quite found their footing yet. It sort of felt like the difference in indie games and AAA right now. There were passionate indie web devs constantly experimenting and creating new ideas every day. Club Penguin, Cool Math Games, Miniclip, MySpace, and even, Facebook. You could spend hours surfing the web, looking at cool web pages uninfluenced by algorithms. Even in the 2000s, the character of the internet stayed mostly intact. I think that the one area that you can see this the most is actually social media. MySpace was the earliest of the big social media sites, and while it really doesn't hold a candle to any of the big ones these days, it was a titan in its heyday. MySpace was built around your page.
You detailed everything about yourself, set your favorite music to play in the background, and posted whatever you wanted. It was meant to learn more about people.
Take a look at this old MySpace page from 2013. There are lists of interests, favorite artists, books, and answered questions. When asked, "Do you swear?" she answered,
Hell no. What kind of freaking question is that?
"I feel like I know you now, Tasha." Social media was meant to instigate connection, not to replace it. You could learn more about someone before you messaged them, or talk to them in real life. You saw how they customized their page, you saw their answers and their posts, and you got an idea of how you could talk to them based on those things. It's a completely different world in today's social media landscape.
So, what happened?
Today's social media is more about looking at everyone else than it is about learning about them. Every site prioritizes snapshots, perfect moments captured in unrealistic eternity. To find any meaningful information about a person, you kinda gotta dig through their profile a bit. Ironically, this form of social media is proven to be more addicting to us. Companies profit from our attention, and the attempt at connection that originally inspired social media plays second fiddle to the unimaginable cash to be made. This change actually reflects the state of the modern internet as a whole.
Over time, the charm of the internet dissipated. Big companies began to find their footing and decided that clean, readable web pages were better for ease of access, especially as older age groups joined in online. Google became the one and only way to search for websites, and its algorithms, while useful, ended up centralizing the internet heavily. It became harder and harder to find random web pages, and large companies paid to stay at the top of the results. The internet, like the rest of the world, turned corporate. The color of cool math games was replaced with monochrome, market-approved design philosophy.
And we're still there now. I really miss the charm of the early internet. But I do feel like there's something
On the horizon.
Recently, I was getting a drink from a Coke freestyle machine, and I saw this retro-inspired promo, the internet's favorite mix, with flavors like Cherry Baby 101, Tropical Vlogger, Citrus Chatbot, Vanilla Peach Lover, Orange Going Viral, and
Lime in my DMs.
Don't talk to me if you don't have lime in your DMs. Coke is harkening back to early internet aesthetics, referencing chat rooms, but also bringing in modern elements too. Like, I don't really think people called them DMs as much back then. And vlogging wasn't really a thing until later. There were definitely a couple of Vanilla Peach lovers out there though, that's for sure. So fast forward to one day later, and I'm scrolling Instagram. I get this progressive ad featuring a rip-off version of Clippy. Brands everywhere are tapping into our nostalgia, and if you want to find out why, you can check out my last video here. But the point is that, like any other style in history, modern design is reaching its end. With the state of the world, people miss that bright, colorful vibe that existed on the early internet. Millennials and Gen Z grew up with this aesthetic, and now that they're all grown up, this design style is making its way back into our websites and products. It's just showing up again everywhere. There has also been a huge surge in the indie internet. Now, to clarify, I'm probably way behind on this. I'm sure that the indie internet has existed for years, but it is a sign that the lost charm of the early internet is making its return. My entry point into this world was this video titled Let's Make Websites from Digon.
In this video, Digon creates a website and it has this really cool Nintendo DS and Wii era vibe that I rarely see as inspiration. I absolutely love it. Also linked on Digon's site are Digon's friends' websites. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Each one has this unique personal twist that gives them so much charm and character.
This video really got me into this whole world, and you guys should really go check it out. I've linked the video and the websites in the description below. From this entry point, I found NeoCities. By their own description, NeoCities is a social network of 980,100 websites that are bringing back the lost individual creativity of the web. They offer free static web hosting and tools that allow you to create your own website. Join me now. I scrolled on here for a while, and there are so many cool websites.
Look at this one, and this one, and this one, and oh, don't look at this one.
There are plenty of other sites popping up like this everywhere now.
You've got this site called melonland.com, which is, honestly, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's pretty cool. I mean, look at this. That's pretty cool.
And there are also tons of other web surfing sites, a lot like NeoCities, that are meant to take you back to those old times without Google or any algorithms pointing you in a direction. And on top of that, there are these really cool retro-themed social media sites that try to take you back to old school MySpace and old YouTube. They are really fun to browse, but I've got to be honest, I don't think that we'll ever be able to truly recapture the magic of the early internet. Not exactly, at least. We can always emulate the retro styling or the personal flair, but as much as I love those things, that's only half the battle. What's much harder is replicating the cozy connection that the early internet fostered. With modern social media, it kind of feels lifetimes away. But there is hope. New social media sites are cropping up for the first time in a while, and they're having some moderate success. They put a real focus on connection instead of attention. I haven't gotten a real chance to try them out, but sites like Blue Sky and Neptune are trying to take the internet back to where it was. Less centralized, cozier, charming, even.
Oh my god, he said the title!
I can't say for sure whether it'll work. Our brains may be too rotted. But I do have hope that this is the first of many steps in the right direction. Maybe soon we'll be singing Kumbaya around the digital campfire. But even if not,
These are some pretty cool websites, right?